Hi YouTube. I'm going to do a radio review of a Midland 75 822 handheld walkie-talkie CB. I love CBs. I do a lot of these little range tests and see what they can do. So this is the Midland portable CB radio. It's tiny. It's probably the tiniest one I own. It's very small. It's a cute little radio. But usually the small radios don't work well. The smaller the radio, they don't seem to receive well. They usually don't seem to transmit too well. So I wasn't trying to go out and do this one. I didn't really care about even owning this little teeny tiny thing. But I decided to test every single radio that you can buy in 2025. So I went out and I bought them all. All the ones you can buy today. I've got the Cobra H50, the President Randy, the Uniden Pro, whatever the devil that is, Pro 538. I've got a Uniden 401. I've got a Uniden 501. Anyhow, all the ones that you can buy now, I bought, including the Midland 75 822. I took them out. I wasn't expecting this to do well. This topped them all, in my opinion. As far as output goes, this thing would talk to my base station the clearest of all of them. I was really impressed because I wasn't expecting anything out of this small radio. It also has an adapter that you can put in the bottom, and then you can just plug it into your vehicle, and the adapter has a place to go to a CB antenna on the roof, and it has a cigarette lighter plug. So I said, well, I've got it. I'll take it for a ride in my pickup, and I'll see how many miles I can go. Well, I usually go out about 9.5 miles for most of my tests. I certainly didn't expect this itty-bitty little walkie-talkie to do 9.5 miles. So I stopped at 9.5 miles. I should have gone 10. I came home, I watched the footage. It went, I think it was 9.5 miles using the Tram 3500 in my pickup truck, plugged in the cigarette lighter. I can't believe this little thing would do 10 miles, but it did 9.5 anyhow. I should have gone a little farther because it really works well. Now, the day I did all my big tests, it was Memorial Day of 2024. I took all 9 walkie-talkies out. This is an old Radio Shack. This was probably the best CB walkie-talkie you could buy in the day. This is the most powerfulest, got the best antenna, the best features, the best sound quality, receives really well. I wanted to see if any of these new radios could dethrone the king. They all did. That radio works great. I love that old radio. It does work nice, but almost all of these radios performed better, sounded fine, worked fine. So, and again, I went out on Memorial Day. I kept trying to make a video. I never got around to it. Finally, Memorial Day said, I'm going out and I'm making this video. I don't care. Well, it was so windy. It was like a hurricane. I couldn't even stand up. The wind is blowing my clothes. I'm leaning into the wind trying to walk. My tripod that I have my camera on, it blew over about 5 times. And I kept picking it up. So you're going to see me on the video keep lunging forwards to grab the tripod so it wouldn't fall and hit the ground. I went out 1 mile, then I went out 2 miles, then I went out 2.5. I didn't. 1 mile, 2 miles, 3 miles, 3.5, 4, 4.5, and then 5 miles. Well, none of them made it 4.5. None of them made it 5 miles. But one of these walkie-talkies, couldn't believe it, one of these walkie-talkies made it 4 miles. So that was incredible. I'm pretty sure it was this Midland 75 822. This thing is always, out of all of them, even with the rubber duck antenna, it's booming. This thing is always putting out a great signal, better than the other ones. I think that's got the best signal. I don't really like the little tiny display on it. There's a lot of little things I'm not crazy about. but I think performance-wise, that that little tiny walkie-talkie was unbelievable. Really worked well. So you're going to see the footage. Now, when I was out at the 4-mile mark, only one of these made it 4 miles to my house. And because it was Memorial Day, there were hundreds of people on the CB. Every channel had people talking. I didn't realize going out on the holiday weekend I'd get everybody talking. So because everybody's talking, the conditions were terrible. Every channel was filled with static and noise and people talking from all over the world. So now the conditions are terrible. I still went out and did it because I wanted to get it done. I still got 4 miles on that. When I came home and watched the footage, I heard me say, usually I'll say, I'm testing the Midland 75 822. I've got it on high power. I've got the the HYS antenna is what these are called now. HYS 51-inch telescoping antenna on it. And I'm 4 miles from the base station, testing 1, 2, 3. Well, I got back, I watched it, only one radio worked, and when I said, I'm testing somebody talked on top of me. Somebody with a lot more power talked above me. I couldn't possibly hear it. I've listened to that video 100 times, trying to figure out which one of these walkie-talkies got 4 miles. I'm impressed with 4 miles. But I can't figure it out. Only one did it. I heard myself say, I'm on high power, I'm 4 miles from the base station, and I've got the 51-inch telescoping antenna. But I don't know which one it was. So what I did is I took all 9 walkie-talkies out a second time, took them out to the 4 mile mark, and I kept waiting to get a good day. I test them. The 3.5 mile mark is a school. I don't want to go to a school during the daytime when the kids are there. I don't want to go to school time at nighttime. They think I'm breaking in. So I go on Sunday afternoons. Well, and that's the 3.5 mile mark is a school, and the 4 mile mark is a school. So I've been waiting 9 months for a day to go, and every Sunday afternoon I test the conditions. The conditions are so terrible, just tons of people talking, tons of static, tons of humming, buzzing, popping, snapping. The conditions are terrible for 9 months in a row. I finally said, I've had it. I went out at night, and I kept hoping the police wouldn't bust me, parked in a school parking lot at 10 o'clock at night, but they didn't bother me. The police in my town are pretty good. So I went out at 10 o'clock at night with all of these, and I said, now I'm going to find out which one of these radios can do 4 miles. They all did it. The conditions, I went out at nighttime, the conditions were fantastic. It was very, very quiet. There was only like maybe 3 pounds of noise, if that. Nobody was on the radio. It was just dead quiet. So most of these radios with the rubber duck antenna, 4 miles from my house. I couldn't believe it. I don't know if I could ever duplicate that or not, but every single one of these with the rubber duck antenna made it to 4 miles. Incredible. So anyhow, it would do the 4. I'm going to show you the features on this radio. I'm gonna take it for a test drive, test the range, test the features, test the power, and show you everything about it. And we'll see how this radio is. I think it's pretty darn good. I'm really impressed me. I think it's probably the best radio you can buy. It's not my favorite, but it's probably the best performing radio that you can buy in 2025. Hi, doing a little public service announcement. I love these little walkie-talkies. I play with them all the time. Out in the wide open area, in the woods, so forth, you can get a couple of miles with these. They work fantastic. But I keep seeing reviews where people say, that's the worst piece of junk, lucky to get 50 feet. Well, what they're doing is they're trying to use it inside of a vehicle. You can't use this inside of a vehicle. It will not work. Once you get inside of a vehicle, it's a metal cage all around you. It's called a Faraday cage. Won't let signals in or out. So you can't use it more than 50 feet inside of a vehicle. If you're going to use it on a vehicle, you need to get a good rooftop magnetic CB antenna that goes on the rooftop. This one is a Tram 3500. I can get 10 miles with this. 10 miles easy with that, but then you got to buy an adapter. The top of this antenna comes off. That's a BNC connector. BNC. So you just buy an adapter. This little adapter is a BNC by SO239. That's what they call that adapter. Now you put this on the roof of the car. You run this through the window or through the door. You plug it on. Plug it onto the walkie-talkie. Now you can use this and do 5 to 10 miles, no problem at all. But you can't use it inside of a car. So I'm just kind of letting people be aware that these walkie-talkies can't be used inside of a vehicle. Okay, now let me show you the features of this Midland 75-822. All right, we've got a light at the top. We'll turn the light on. So light's up. Now you'll see it flash and save, S-A-V-E, right over here someplace. It just keeps doing that. I forget what it does. It's not important. It just tells you something. Anyhow, you've got an LCR. That's last channel recall. So if I press that, guess I don't have one. Let me turn that to 30. All right. So if I press the last channel recall, now it brings me back to 27. All right. Has a function button. Has 5 memory sets. I have about 5 towns all around my house. Every town has a different, everybody uses a different channel. So if I turn on, we'll say 27 in my town, I'll hear 10 guys talking. If I turn 16 on, I'll hear a different town. But this has got 5 memory stations, so I can program all 5 memory stations. Just hit function and hold it. It's got 2. It's got the 9 and 19 button. It's got a weather.
Here is the official National Weather Service forecast for Massachusetts and Ipswich Bays, as well as the Stellar.
So it's got weather. It's got dual watch. So if I press dual watch to program it, you just press function, put on one channel, hit the dual watch, turn on your second channel, press function, press the dual watch. After you press the dual watch, I've got it set up for 27, that's my local channel, and 19 to see if anybody's got traffic conditions or whatever. So it's got dual watch, which is kind of nice. I can scan those 5 memory channels. I can also scan all the radio channels. It's got a scan. I can hit this button and now it says low power. So I've got low power and high. It's got a pretty decent signal strength meter. So it's not too bad. The channel up and down are on the side, up, down, and you push to talk. On the top we have the volume and the squelch on the top, and I can plug in an external speaker and microphone. So it's not a bad little radio. It probably has the most features out of all my walkie-talkies. I don't care about having any of those features, but it is nice. They did a heck of a job. You can buy this radio for $99. For $99, it does work fantastic. Now let me tell you about, I'm going to do a power test next. Let me tell you, it's got a charging box, and then it's got a much smaller box that holds alkaline batteries. So you can have 8 rechargeable batteries in here, or you can have 6 alkaline batteries. Comes with a charger, so I can actually just plug this in and recharge my batteries in here. Most times when you get a recharger like that, it's for the NiCad batteries. I don't think this is for the NiCad. I think I can put nickel metal hydrates in here, and this will charge them. So this is awesome. Now, when I was doing my battery testing, when I was doing my power testing, I had the 6 alkaline battery box on here. So I had six alkaline batteries, comes to 9 volts. And we'll say I was getting 3 watts, or maybe 2.5, whatever it is. We'll do it when we do the power test. Well, I slipped off that battery box and I put on the rechargeable battery box. The rechargeable battery box is 8 rechargeable batteries, so 8 times 1.5. 8 times 1.5 is 9.6. So it's only 0.6 volts more. Just basically a half a volt more if you're running the rechargeable batteries. Well, I noticed the rechargeable batteries, that 0.6 volts more got me like a watt and a half more than the alkalines. So if you buy one of these, buy some rechargeable batteries. I like Power Owls myself. The Power Owls work pretty good. That's what I'm using. Power Owl 1.2 volt, and I'm using 8 of those in here. Well, 8 Power Owls gives me, we'll say, 4 watts, and 6 of the alkalines for the other battery box. So 6 times 1.5 is 9 volts. It's only, like I say, a half a watt difference, but half a volt difference. But as far as the watts go, it was huge. It was like a watt and a half difference. So, all right, so let me get my equipment up, and we'll do a watt test. This is the mobile adapter. This one you can put in your car. What you do is you just take the battery box off. It's the battery box. You take this mobile one, you slide it on the bottom, like that. Now, it has a place to hook up to your car antenna on the roof. So you put your regular CB antenna into here. You can plug this in the cigarette lighter. When you plug it in a cigarette lighter, you get a little bit of extra power, a little bit more power from the vehicle, so you get a little bit more watts here. You no longer need the factory rubber duck antenna because you're using this one. So now you can just use this like a regular CB in your car. The problem is, Midland, when they made this, they should have put a thing that when you plugged in the cigarette lighter, the display just stayed on. Because if you're in the vehicle, you can't see this. I turned it on to show you the display. I forgot I don't have the battery box on. I don't have it plugged in. Anyhow, the display is so tiny on it. I'm old. I can't see this display without my glasses. And when I'm driving in the vehicle, it's dark in the vehicle. I have to keep pressing. There's a light button. I have to keep pressing the light button to see the display. So I wish they had figured out, hey, they're using it in a vehicle. We got plenty of power in a vehicle. Keep the light on. That way you can see the display. The display is awful small anyhow. I like this radio for its performance. It really performs well. I think it's the best performing radio you can get in 2025. But I'm not crazy about some of the features. I'm not crazy about the display. But the performance, this thing is fantastic. I like the belt clip in the back. I like the way it feels in my hand. I like a lot of this. Now, speaking of the belt clip, if you're using it for your vehicle, I would have rather had a regular microphone clip in the back. That way I can use, I can take a microphone clip, screw it to the dashboard, and hang this up. And if I could hang it up someplace I could see the display, it'd be nice. But with this belt clip in the back, all I can do is stick it in the cup holder. And I'm sure I could Mickey Mouse something. But that's one more little thing Midland probably should have thought of. It's a great radio, don't get me wrong. This is probably one of the best radios out there. It works fantastic, it sounds fantastic. It really punches through the noise. I told you I took it out on the worst day possible. Out of all the radios, this thing sounded fantastic. It was really punching through all the noise. Seeing how I have this adapter that I can put it in my pickup truck, I hooked this up to a Tram 3500 on my pickup. And I plugged it in the cigarette lighter. I usually go out about 10 miles when I do all my tests. I go out, I test all kinds of walkie-talkies. I test all kinds of CBs and different things. And to be truthful with you, I like to go to the Texas Roadhouse. So the Texas Roadhouse is about 10 miles from my house. So I go out there and have a bite to eat. And when I'm going out there, I bring a radio, different radio, and try it. Some radios make it, some radios don't. Probably 60% of radios making the 10-mile mark with that Tram 3500 on the top of my truck. This little itty-bitty tiny thing, I figured this is never going to make it to 10 miles. Well, there's a parking lot at 9 miles, tiny. There's a parking lot at, I think it's about 9.5 miles away. I stopped at the parking lot figuring this was not going to make it. And I did my thing and said, hey, this is the Midland, whatever, whatever. And I came home and watched it. Son of a gun. I think this could have done the 10 miles. This went to the parking lot, 9.5 miles away. It sounded good. It was working good. I was actually receiving people from miles away. I couldn't believe it. So this really works great as a walkie-talkie. It works great as a CB in a vehicle, and it's really doing great on my range. So let me show you the features. All right, here's the this is the rechargeable battery box, and like I said, it's got a light, so I can actually charge it up, and the light will tell me when it's charged up. I did notice, I was surprised, I plugged this in, and I thought I could have it plugged in while I was using the radio. I can't. As soon as I plug the recharger in, the radio goes dead. It stops. So I either recharge or use the radio, one or the other. Can't do them both at the same time. This little tiny box has got the six alkaline batteries in it. So you can see how small that is compared. Let me put it on the radio. Hang on. That's the small pack installed. It is a extremely small, little tiny walkie-talkie, but it puts out a lot of power. Not power, but it cuts the signal cuts through all the static and everything very well. I'm very impressed with how well this works. All right, let me hook up my power meter, and we'll see what the power is. We're going to do the power test now. This Midland 75-822 comes with 2 battery packs, which is awesome. You can use them for rechargeable batteries. 8 times the rechargeable batteries are 1.2 volts. So if you use the rechargeable battery pack, you get 9.6 volts. Or you can just use a regular alkaline battery. These take 6 batteries. 6 times 1.5 volts is 9 volts. It's only 0.6 volts difference between the 2 battery packs. You wouldn't think it would be much, but it's a massive difference on wattage. We'll do the power test and see. Hang on. And that's what it looks like inside. Six alkaline batteries versus 8 1.2 volt rechargeable batteries. Again, we'll do the power test and see what we get. But it's going to be a massive difference. Okay, we're going to see. I've got the 1.5 rechargeable volt, 1.2 volt rechargeable battery box on. These are the 8 batteries. We're going to put it on low power. All right, we're on low power. 1.22 watts. 1.22 watts on low power. It's moving around just because I'm talking. Now we're going to go on high power. And on high power, about 2.99. 2.99 watts. Now that's the rechargeable battery box. We're going to run a tone through that and see what we get for a peak. Alright, now we're running a tone. That first line right down here, that first line is 5 watts. We're about between the 5 and the 10. So between the 5 and the 10, we're going to call it 7.5, 8 watts. So we're putting out about 8 watts on peak. Okay, now we've got the 1.5 volt alkaline box on. That's the small little tiny battery box. Let's see what we got. We're going to put it on low power. All right, on low power, 1.5. 1.5, about the same as the other. Now we're going to put it on high power. 2.42. 2.42 watts. A far cry from the rechargeables. So the rechargeables were doing about 3 watts. These are only doing about 2.5. That's a big difference. Let's put a tone on it and see what we get. Okay, now we've got a tone on that. We're pushing about 5 watts. Maybe, yeah, we've got 5 watts That's it. So the other one was about 8 watts with the alkaline batteries, regular like Duracells or Energizers. With Duracells or Energizers, we're putting out 5. So 3 watts difference is huge. Absolutely huge difference. So you're better off to use the rechargeable battery pack. All right, I'm going to hook it up to the car charger now, to the car adapter, and we'll see how that does. Okay, we're going to start with low watts. 1.28 watts. So it's a lot better when it's plugged into the... my power supply is 13.8 volts, just like a car battery. So that's basically what we're doing. We've got this basically hooked up to a car battery now, just like if you were using this in your vehicle as a CB. Now we're going to put it on high watts. 4.06. 4.06 on high watts. That's pretty good. Now we're going to run a tone. Now we get a tone going through it. We're putting out about 10 watts. Yeah, we're putting out a good 10 watts on here. So when you're using this in your vehicle, you're peaking. You have about a 10 watt peak. Not bad at all. So obviously, if you're using this in a car, it works pretty doggone good. Can't complain about that. So that's the power tests. And just to show you, that's the adapter. Goes up. This is now plugged into my power meter, and I've got it plugged into a 13.8 volt power supply. So we did it with rechargeable batteries, with alkaline batteries, and the power supply. Power supply is obviously the best, then the rechargeable batteries. I use rechargeable batteries probably for everything I do. I don't like to waste alkaline batteries, so I have about 200 of the Power Owl 1.2 volt rechargeable batteries that I use for all my testing. But I was surprised to see how much of a difference it made. I'm just doing a little video in my Midland. I was out in my workshop showing a video of this, and I heard a bunch of guys talking on the CB, so I wanted to see if this little Midland would pick it up. And it picks them up. It's the middle of it's the middle of a snowstorm, but for a little tiny CB, it's picking up all the base stations. It's picking up all the base stations in my area, so I didn't think it had too good of a receive, but the receive's not too bad on it. All right, we'll range test here. We're testing the Midland 75 822 low power, 1 mile from the house, with the factory antenna, rubber ducky. Testing the Midland 75 822, 1 mile from the house, rubber ducky antenna. We've got 1.2 volt rechargeable batteries in it, high power, rubber ducky antenna, 1 mile from the house. try the try the big antenna. I think that was low power. Trying the Midland 75 822 low power, 1 mile from the house, with the 51-inch antenna. Testing the Midland 75. I thought my camera was going over. Testing the Midland 75 822 high power, 1 mile from the house, 1.2 volt rechargeable batteries with the 51-inch tall high streaker antenna.
We're testing the Midland 75 822 low power, 1 mile from the house with the factory antenna. The Midland 75 822, 1 mile from the house, rubber ducky antenna. We've got 1.2 volt rechargeable batteries in it, high power, rubber ducky antenna, 1 mile from the house. Trying the Midland 75 822 low power, 1 mile from the house with the 51-inch antenna. Testing the Midland 75, oh, I can't. Testing the Midland 75 822 high power, 1 mile from the house, 1.2 volt rechargeable batteries with the 51-inch tall high streaker antenna.
We are range testing the Midland 75 822 Handheld CB channel 14 low power factory antenna, rubber ducky antenna. We're using 1.2 volt rechargeable batteries. We're 2 miles from the house on low power. And now we're range testing the 75 822 2 miles from the house, high power, using the factory rubber ducky antenna and the 1.2 volt rechargeable batteries. Range test 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. Range testing the Midland 75 822 2 miles from the house, low power, 51-inch high streaker antenna, low power using the 1.2 volt batteries. Range test 1, 2, 3. Range testing the Midland 75 822 walkie-talkie on high power with the 51-inch high streaker antenna, high power, 2 miles from the house with 1.2 volt batteries.
We're range testing Midland 75 822. We are 2 miles from the house with factory rubber ducky antenna. We're on low power, 1.2 volt rechargeable battery. Doing the 2 mile range test of the 75 822 Midland rock height. Factory rubber ducky antenna, 1.2 volt rechargeable batteries. We are range testing the Midland 75 822. We are 2 miles from the house. We have a 51-inch high streaker antenna. We are on low power using 1.2 volt rechargeable batteries. power with a 51-inch Hystrika antenna, 2 miles from the house, 1.2 volt rechargeable batteries in the 51-inch tall Hystrika antenna.
We're testing the Midland 75 822, 3 miles from the house, factory rubber ducky antenna on the low power. Low power, factory rubber ducky antenna, 1.2 rechargeable batteries. That was high power. That was high power before. We're going to do low power now. We're testing the Midland 75 822 with factory rubber ducky antenna. We're 3 miles from the house. We're definitely on low power, rubber ducky antenna, 3 miles from the house. Testing 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. We're testing the Midland 75 822. We are 3 miles from the house, the base station. We've got low power, and we're using the 51-inch Hystrika antenna, 3 miles from the house, using the 1.2 volt rechargeable batteries. Testing 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. Now we're testing the Midland 75 822, 3 miles from the house. We're on high power with the 51-inch telescoping Hystrika antenna, high power, 3 miles from the house. 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1.
Testing the Midland 75 822, 3 miles from the house, low power. We're using the 51-inch Hystrika antenna, 3 miles from the house, power. Testing 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. Now we're testing the Midland 75 822, 3 miles from the house. We're on high power. We're using the 51-inch Hystrika antenna, 3 miles from the house, using 1.2 volts and 51. 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. Midland 75 822, range test, 3.5 miles from the house. Got the Hystrika 51-inch scoping antenna. Midland 75 822, range test. Midland 75 822, high power, 3.5 miles from the house. We've got the telescoping antenna, 51-inch antenna, high power, 3.5 miles from the house. Testing 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. This is the test of the Midland 75 822 Handheld CB. Got the rubber ducky antenna on high power at 4-mile mark, 4-mile mark. Testing 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. It's 10:34. Testing the Midland 75 822. I've got the HYS antenna. I'm 4 miles out. Testing 1, 2, 3. 321.
All right, I'm going to the Texas Roadhouse. I'm going to plug this in the cigarette lighter. I'm going to hook this up to my Tram 3500 on the roof. And I'm going to turn my bass on with a camcorder aimed at the bass so I can see how it's coming in. And I'm going to go over to the Texas Roadhouse and use this itty bitty teeny tiny CB like a regular CB in my truck. And we'll see how it does.
Leaving the house. Test 1, 2, 3. I'm at the quick mark. 1.84 miles from the base station. 1.84 miles from the base station. Testing 1, 2, 3. 3, 2, 1. This is the Midland 75 822. Passing the 2-mile mark. Midland 75 822. 2 miles from the base station. Test 1, 2, 3. Entering Plimpton. This is the test, range test of the 75 822 Midland. Just entering Plimpton. Test 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. It's 7:07 p.m. I'm at the spring. I am at the spring. Range test of the 75 822 Midland CB. Just went by the spring. Test 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. I'm going by 80. Just passing 80. The range test of the 75 822 Midland CB. Test 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. 712. We just got on the second highway. This is the range test of the 75 822 Midland. Just got on the second highway. Range test. Test 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. Just passing Plymouth Center. Just passing Plymouth Center. 7:14 p.m. Range test of the 75 822 Midland CB. I'm just taking the Texas Roadhouse exit. Texas Roadhouse exit range test of the Midland 75 822. Testing 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. I am now at the 9-mile mark. Range test of the Midland 75 822. I am now at the 9-mile mark. Range test. Testing 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. 9 miles out. Alright, I am at the destination for my range test. End of the range test of the Midland 75 822. I'm in the parking lot. So we'll get a few more tests going. We'll see what happens.
So that was my review of the Midland 75 822. Awesome little radio. I actually looked it up. They came out in December of 2001. So they've been making this for 24 years. So I said I don't really like the display. That's because all the new displays are digital and big and bright and easy to see. It could probably use an update. It still works great. It's got more features than anything, especially a 24-year-old radio. It really works well. Nice if I go out in the woods, I can put it on, the belt clip goes on my belt. I can hear decent with it. The receiver's not the best, speaker's not the loudest, but it works good. Works good, it's a nice little radio. $99. It's called a 2-in-1 because you can use it in your vehicle. So if you're going on a long trip, you can put that in your vehicle with a magnetic CB antenna on the roof, and you could use it really good. If 2 or 3 cars were going together, they could all buy one of these. Put this on, when you get to the hotel, you slap the battery pack back on. Everybody, hey, you guys going out to the pool or whatever, you can talk back and forth in the hotel. Kind of a nice idea. So that's my review. I like the radio. It's a little dated, but it's a nice radio, and I hope you enjoyed the review. Thank you for watching. By the way, if you watch this all the way to the end, thank you very much. I owe you an hour of your life. That was a long video. I didn't want it to be so long, but it just went on and on and on. So if you stayed till the end, thank you very much.